Hey, what's up everybody? It's 80 Fits here with another tutorial. Today I'm going to be talking about the vocal scratch. A lot of you guys have been asking about it, so I decided to talk about it this week. And before I jump in, as always, I got to shout out these two guys, Tom Thumb and Beat Rhino. Tom Thumb is a guy I've mentioned before, but he is crazy at scratching, crazy at vocal scratching. He's probably just one of the best out there. So check out Tom. I can't tell you to check his stuff out enough. And Beat Rhino. Beat Rhino is an American champion and one of my friends, and he does this thing that I call the dog scratch, and it's this crazy, I think it's an inward technique, but it sounds so dope, and you can learn a lot from watching these two guys, so check them out. I highly recommend it. And before I jump in, this tutorial I think requires a little disclaimer. It's one of these techniques that is incredibly unique to each beatboxer, and every beatboxer has a different take on it and a different approach. So it's important to note that there's no right or wrong way to do it. Everything is fair game. So if it sounds cool, do it. By no means is there one right way to scratch. With that said, there are a couple techniques that a lot of beatboxers use, including myself, that I'm gonna discuss, and hopefully it'll help you guys get started or maybe learn something new that you can apply to your current beats. So yeah, I think the basic scratch can get broken down into two steps. There's one phrase that a lot of beatboxers start out learning. I started out with it as well, and I still use it, and that's called the ibida. The ibida is exactly as it sounds. It's just a phrase that you say in the middle of a beat or in the middle of a phrase like, oh yeah, and you just say ibida like a DJ would if he were scratching a record. So step one is just to say ibida in your normal voice and just practice doing different combinations of ibida and dibida, like ibida, 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 dibida, ibida, dibida, and practicing those and putting them into beats until you feel comfortable moving it into falsetto. That's step two, is moving the ibida into falsetto. So ibida becomes ibida, 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 ibida. And it sounds crazy when you first start practicing, especially if you're around people that are gonna be like, what the hell are you doing? But I promise it does sound cool in a beat the more you practice and the tighter you get the sound. Once you have the ibida and some combinations down and you can flip it into falsetto, try scratching a phrase and putting it into a beat. I like to scratch the phrase like, yeah, like, I mean, there's an endless number of phrases that you can use, but oh yeah is a good one to start out with because it's a fairly simple phrase and it gives you space to play with the scratching. Another little tip, if you guys are having trouble taking the ibida and flipping it into falsetto, is listen to Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He kind of talks like this. It's kind of this crazy weird voice like that. But that's exactly how you should sound. So try to imitate that voice and just say, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Go forth and be creative and try to come up with some weird phrases and just play around with it. The more you practice, the better you're gonna get and the cooler your scratches are gonna be. So as always, take care guys, and I will see you next time. 80 Fits out.